It's your favorite Empress. Welcome in and welcome back to a special episode of the Empress Talks Series. In today's video, I'm going to be giving you 6 real-life tips to change your life in the next 6 months. This video is inspired by a 6-month Reinvent Yourself challenge that I will be hosting with my online community. I shared this recently on my Instagram page. If you're not following me on Instagram, now is a great time if you're interested in a challenge like this. This challenge is really all about picking apart all the more important things that you need to address and get on top of so that you can be in the position, the version of yourself that you continue to see and not be. Really, the main question of this 6-month challenge is going to be, what are the most important things you need to do in the next 6 months to reach your goals, whatever your goal may be. This video is also complementary or compatible with last week's video, which was all about how to build a weekly routine. That video will come in handy to the 6-month challenge because I would want us all to approach the 6-month challenge in a bite-sized way, which is why I started out by giving you all a guide of how to approach each week. I do have some resources for you in the description linked. They are all free, which will help you alongside your 6-month challenge. Please indulge. I'm super excited about this challenge, and doing it with my community is just a way to hold ourselves accountable. I do believe it's better to grow together than alone, which is not to be confused with the idea that I would do it alone if I had to. I would just like to share something like this with the community, and that's what I'm doing. So let's dive in. When we approach the idea of changing our lives, our position, and getting to achieve a major goal, there are things that we have to address and think about in the beginning stages. One of those things is identifying our values. It's important that we have values and reasons behind why we would start out on a journey or a goal for the next 6 months. This is going to help our mindset towards it. It's going to also help us be motivated in times where we may feel like giving up, where we have self-doubt. It's good to know the purpose and the value of it in your life. A common example of this would be if I were a woman who wanted to lose weight because maybe I found out recently that my weight is a bit unhealthy. I would want to lose weight, and the value behind that is for my health, for longevity in my life, because maybe my doctor told me this is going to be for the benefit of me living longer. Our values in our journey is all about keeping us grounded and mindful of exactly why we're doing it, what it means to us. It's all about keeping it real with ourselves. We're not just going to do something without there being a reward, without there being something that benefits us. So if the value is the fact that you're going to feel better about yourself, you're going to be in a better position, you're going to be in a better location, you're going to, whatever it may be, that's the value that you want to make clear so you have an understanding of exactly what the advantage is going to be of you being on this journey. Following up on being real with yourself whenever you're creating your values is prioritizing relevant goals that actually make sense. And when I say they actually make sense, I mean, I'm not saying you can't be delusional, but there's a level of realistic that you have to be when you make certain goals. Make the goals make sense for yourself so that when you're going after them, you're not overwhelmed or confused. You want to be super clear on the goal, what the goal is, the value of it to you, as well as how you're going to get to it. Those things need to be abundantly clear. This is about clarity. And in prioritizing goals that make sense, make sure that you're focusing on the points that you're starting from and trying to end in. Am I in a position to get here? How can I get in a position to get there? And once you answer those questions, you will have an idea of how realistic your goals are and how doable it is in the time span that you're giving yourself. Because these 6 months, I don't want you to use these 6 months to be overwhelming yourself, pushing yourself too hard. This is not what a 6-month challenge is about. It's not pushing too hard, but pushing enough. in the formula for your 6 months of challenging yourself, there is also going to be a component of self-compassion. You have to be understanding of your limits. You have to be understanding of your circumstances, your own real life journey outside of this challenge. I need you to do that because self-care is an important facet. Self-compassion is an important facet of any journey, any challenge that you're going to put yourself on in life. I don't expect us to be robotic. That is not the goal here. I feel like of all the tips I'll be giving in this video, this is one that you really need to take into mind fully before approaching the goal. Next, once you prioritize the things that actually make sense and the things that you know you can actually go towards, you want to start off with a little bit of practice. And this is going to be about starting with the things that you've been putting off for a long time. Remove procrastination first. And I say practice because a lot of this journey is going to be about building self-trust. Whenever yourself trusts you, I don't want this to be confusing. Whenever you trust yourself, you're capable of doing anything. And because of self-doubt due to fear and whatever is happening in your outer environment, it may cause you to procrastinate your goals, procrastinate the things important to you. And that is what impedes self-trust. It makes self-trust harder to build, which is why you're going to start with the practice, getting the things that you've been putting off for a while done first. A more relative example of this for a 6-month challenge would be actually going to a gym and getting a membership. That's something you may have been putting off and why you weren't able to lose your weight or gain your weight yet. And you're gonna finally, this September, go to the nearby gym, ask the questions you need to ask, figure out what membership tier works for your budget and your lifestyle, and start. Once you start, you don't stop. And that's how you're gonna build the trust with yourself. So facets of self-trust that I find most helpful when going on journeys like this are going to be action and consistency. So when you actually start, you keep going. Consistency, doing it continuously. This is really the period to do it or shut up about it. If you're not gonna do it, don't talk about it. Don't continue to torture yourself. Don't continue to think about these things if you're not going to do it. Earlier I mentioned that self-compassion is going to be an important component to this Reinvent Yourself challenge and journey. And that is why this next tip is going to be letting go of self-sabotaging habits, thoughts, and behaviors. Self-sabotaging thoughts are going to be ideas of self-doubt. For example, I keep on using this example because this is one of the main examples of challenges that women and individuals put themselves to, and it's losing weight. It's something that we see common online, and we always push and vote for these individuals because it is a journey and it's complex, and the mind sometimes will tell you things that are not true, like, oh no, you can't do it, this is too hard, this is yada yada yada. The mind is a very, very powerful place, but you should always remember that you are in control of your mind. You observe your thoughts. You never let your thoughts control you. You never let your thoughts move you. The thoughts come up. View your thoughts like, you know those people that do the news? They have teleprompters that have the words and everything, and they will sometimes shorten the words and terms depending on their vernacular, right? So you're gonna view your thoughts during this journey and ensure that you decide what thoughts you want to entertain. You decide. Don't let it decide for you. And because your mind is a powerful place, this is why I would want you to build the self-dialogue. I want you to build onto your affirmations, build onto the quotes, build onto the things that will keep you motivated and have an understanding of why you're doing this, why you can do this, and how you will do this. And for self-sabotaging behaviors, an example of this is going to be maybe perfectionism. I've struggled with perfectionism. That's something that I had to be like, listen, it's good enough, just do it. Nike said just do it. Sometimes you want the best version of it, you want it to look the most spotless, And life is not like that. The plan you have to start on the 6-month journey does not have to be perfect. I'm telling you right now. If you're starting on that planner today, September 1st, and you find that you haven't finished on the plan by September 10th, girl, boy, person, you're wasting time right now. Just start. Forget the perfectionism. Forget doing it perfectly. If anything, build as you go. Just start. That's the most important part, because if you don't start, you'll find yourself allowing thoughts in again. You'll find yourself not acting on that goal. You'll find yourself still not doing it. You'll find yourself still without results. And of course, with action, there's going to be a reaction. And this is why we're going to have our next tip, which is doing weekly or monthly reflections during this journey of yours. Now is a great half point to mention once more, I do have resources for the 6-month challenge. And if you do plan to join, you can go ahead and use the resources I have down in my description. I have the Reinvent Yourself Planner, which helps you to plan out the 6-month challenge journey of your own. I also have the Reinvent Yourself Journal, which is going to help you to do reflections. Because we're on tip number 4 of reflections, I wanted to make sure I brought this up. Doing reflections during any journey is what's going to keep you on track. It also keeps you accountable. It allows you to offload anything that may be on your mind or on your heart about how the journey has been going. It's also motivating because as you go, you will see a change in your voice. You will see a change in the dialogue that goes on in your head when you read it over, especially at the end of the journey. You're gonna read these things and you're like, why was I scared to start? Why did I take so long? That's the type of reaction you will have once you read over this journaling that you do. So it's a practice to keep you going, as well as a practice for the memory of this journey, so that you can see that you did it and how you did it. You'll be really proud of yourself when you look back. And this next one is really all about getting every other thing out of the way, except the more mundane routine things, because you will have to have routines in place. These routines will be necessary to eliminate decision fatigue, because you'll have to be making new decisions for this journey that you're going on. You might feel overwhelmed. There might be a lot of thought in your head in the initial stages. So to prevent decision fatigue, you're going to make sure that you have your routines in place and you're okay with those other outside routines. An example of this is waking up at 6 a.m., having your outfits ready before that day. It's the what you wear, it's the what you eat, etc. Yes, it's boring, but get it out the way so you don't have to have decision fatigue during this process, because one of your more main focuses these next 6 months will have to be that goal. And you don't want to get too overwhelmed with too many thoughts and to-dos and this and that, where you're like, dang, there's too much going on. Forget it. I'm not doing it. Because this happens. This is something that more commonly impacts maybe students, individuals who have children, right? Because you have so many other decisions to make that you're like, damn, why am I adding on something else? That's going to be another set of decisions. Make it easier for yourself by having routines. And like I mentioned, I have the video helping you to build a weekly routine, which assists you with understanding how much energy you're going to put into each day, what exactly you want to tackle each day, and how much time you actually have on specific days during a week, right? Okay, and that is all for the 6 real tips to change your life in the next 6 months, inspired by my very own 6-month Reinvent Yourself challenge. Let's get into it. If you have any questions about the challenge or this video alone, please be sure to ask me in the comments, or you can go ahead and ask me in my email at askniea@gmail.com. I'm super excited for this challenge. It was even more of an advantage that I got to put this video out on September 1st, the beginning day of the challenge, so you all can have this video as a guide as well as the resources. I really am looking forward to hearing your testimonials and results and even your thoughts along the way during this journey. I definitely have more videos on the way for self-care and lifestyle, and more content as it pertains to this challenge and our elevation. So follow me on Instagram to keep in touch and hear more about the process. And I will see y'all in another video. Bye! I wanted to explain what a 6-month challenge is and why it may be necessary for individuals. I know that we see quotes online that say a lot of times so much can change in 6 months, and that is true. If you're in a position where you feel like, you know what, I should have done that because I'm still where I was last year. If only I knew, I should have, I could have, you can. And this is what you're going to do in these 6 months. This 6-month challenge is getting from here to there. It's getting from what you're seeing to getting what you could be. It's going from what you're seeing and visualizing for yourself to actually being and living in it. That's what this time period would be for you. It's a reimagination. It's an unlearning, relearning, reframing, and actualizing of your goals, your dreams and thoughts and ideas. It's putting it on paper and then acting on it. The key to a 6-month challenge is the action, because that's why we're not in the position we've always wanted to be. That's the main component, the action of it. And I'm not being negligent of the fact that there may be circumstances and real life matters that make us that keep us in positions we may not want to be. But if there's a possibility that you could gain the resources, the means and opportunities to get to another level, why not? If self-doubt or self-sabotage is the main thing standing in your way, why not choose a different path now? The time is gonna go anyways. The time is gonna pass anyways given God's grace and will, right? So why not use the time to get to a position that you would appreciate? Why not use the time to get over the habit of complacency? Why not use the time to gain trust in yourself and see that you can actually build and create what you see for yourself? The answer to that why not is going to be in one of the tips in this video today. So let's get into it.